Hey guys, my name's Gavin. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made this dark ambient future type loop inside of FL Studio. Something like someone like CUBEATZ would make. Really ambient, as you guys are going to hear. But first we got to throw this dart. And feel free to follow me on Instagram at gavinhadley_. And I just like to thank all of you guys that are subscribing to the channel recently. It means a lot to me. And we're going to keep going. So yeah, let's get this dart throw going and then we'll get into the video. So last time it took 3 tries, but we were able to get almost a bullseye of it. We're only doing 1 today. So hopefully I don't miss the board. First dart throw of the day, it's here. Alright, so let's get into the music portion of this now. So I'm going to play you guys the final loop that I came up with, and I also laid like a super simple drum pattern down just to see what drums sounded like, because I thought it might be a little too low pitch, but I think drums turned out fine. So yeah, that's what everything sounds like. That's the sample. As you can hear, it's super ambient sounding, so I'm going to show you guys how I got it to sound like this. We're going to change the BPM back up to 140 because I made the entire melody here. We'll start with this first element that I added. So it's this one-shot sound. I'm going to mute the effects that I put on it because you can see I use halftime. I never really use halftime on like actual melodies, but for this I decided to. This is what it sounds like. So these two parts are basically the same like top part here. All I did was lower these root notes. Let me create a little progression with the bass line. So we have C sharp, now we're just going down the scale and then back up to the B right here. And I added a little bit of variation in this bottom part by adding these short like filler notes in between. And now this is actually, if we want to get technical here, this note is technically right here, and this is an F sharp minor chord, but I put it down an octave and then created a bass line kind of following that. But the same thing loops the entire time right here too. And you can see I'm really going between these chromatic notes, or notes that are right next to each other in a scale. They do a really good job giving like a dark tone to a melody. So yeah, we go between these A's and the G sharps, and that goes out the entire time. And I just have the C sharp here as a little bit of contrast in this pattern. Yeah, so that just loops the entire time. And now for this, just experimenting with stuff. Again, we have chromatics right here. And now these 2 notes right here, they're the same C sharp, but the first one is a little bit lower in volume and the second one's a little bit higher. I did that just to try to vary the 2 up from each other, to act like this one was like leading into that one, I guess. So now we can get into the effects that we added onto this. So it's going to sound completely different since we added halftime. So what it sounds like, just default halftime, I'm pretty sure 1 bar, 100% mixed, the 2 times mode. Sounds like this. Then we added isotope vinyl, and I used the mechanical noise. I changed the year down to 1980. So this sounds like now. I'll bet on it. I actually added this bell today. Before, the sample was just these sounds right here. So it's just following those root notes from our first melody, except I created a little bit more of a pattern right here. And as you can see, we have those chromatic notes again. So originally this part of it was playing here as well, but all I did was just take out one of the notes right here, kind of build suspense or something right here. Like when you're using these chromatic notes in a lot of melodies, I like to go between them and then drop down all the way to on the 4 space lower than that. It tends to give a pretty cool sound. I do that in a lot of my melodies. And this whole melody is just like a good call and response kind of thing. So we have like the call right here. That's the response. This is the call, and that's the response. Not that this really matters, just something that you can do to test and see if your melody has like a clear direction. So I think this melody does have a clear direction. I randomized the velocities a lot, as you can see there, and now I added a bunch of effects to it to make it sound a little bit less perfect. So this is what it sounds like originally before anything's added. It's one of the in memoriam bells from Omnisphere, by the way. So I started with this chorus. Put back the mix knob a bit, a little reverb. Those are my settings for the reverb. An EQ to take out a harsh frequency right here. A cassette plugin just to make it sound a little bit more crappy and like it's coming through a cassette. the inside bass height preset. This also adds like a little bit of chorus to it as well. And then an EQ, just messing with these knobs, trying to give it a little bit more vinyl of a sound. So not too much of a change with and without the EQ right here, but I just like to add them just to experiment and like subtly change things. So I have this vinyl sound from a CUBEATZ one-shot / like texture kit. Super nice sound, just like quietly in the background. And then I have this one-shot. So you can barely hear it, it's there though. Chromatic notes again right there. They're super useful for these type of loops. I just wanted to keep this pattern really simple because the first two melodies together, I wouldn't say there's a lot going on, but it's pretty full sounding already, and I didn't really think it needed that much. Just a little bit of a support element. So I added this reverb, so it sounds like without anything. So reverb, little altar boy. This is really me just going crazy and experimenting with different plugins. Like this is a lot of stuff to put on a sound like this. Probably could have achieved it with less stuff. Give it a different sound, I guess, if you use different things. But so I put the pitch all the way up in little altar boy, a reverb, doing that setting all the time, putting the wet up and the dry all the way down. I do this in like all my videos. Another EQ, raising frequencies right here to make it a little bit louder, I'm assuming. And then this mega verb. This is a super cool plugin for giving like a distorted reverb sound. I use it all the time now. And in my loops, I like to add like one element that's like super catchy and unique. Like obviously I want the whole thing to sound kind of catchy and unique. I like to add like one sort of different element. So this is my different element here. It's a vocal that I did. Super simple, just me humming into the microphone, and then this is what it sounds like. So yeah, like a super like eerie background sound there. And this is what it sounds like without any effects. I just pitched it up an octave too. So it sounds super terrible right now. Like I would not want that in one of my loops. So to fix it, I put this EQ on, took out some of the low end and a lot of the high end, and really just trying to make it sound like it's underwater. And then I ducked the frequencies right here still a little bit. And then I added this reverb, doing the wet and dry technique that I talked about a second ago. And now I have another reverb just on full blast there, 100% mix, and it makes it sound like this. I also separated it right there with this knob a little bit. That's how I get that sound. I just have one of them playing at a time now. Like I start with everything playing, and I just have one element at a time, just so like whoever's using the loop can go in and chop it up to their liking. Bounce all of these out into an audio file right here. First thing I did was mess around with the pitches. A super easy way to like mess around with pitches and go between them super quick. All you gotta do is click on your audio, and now you can just click random keys on your keyboard and they'll give you random pitches. I just found this out today. If we go into the piano roll here, we're on it as you can see. So this is C5. This gives it the same sound that it would if you just played it in here. So now to go between different ones, keep in mind like your anchor is at like C5. So now if I press say F to get this sound, we just have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to pitch it up 5 semitones. And now when you change around the pitches, it'll make the, if you go higher, it'll make the BPM faster. So to get the BPM, I guess you can play it and then just like snap, get the BPM, and then you can go in here to this tap thing and then just tap out the BPM so it'll change with it. Or if you go lower, it'll slow it down. I did this technique for this and I ended up transposing it down like 5 or 6 semitones. And then I changed the BPM to 112 to match that. And as you can see, I have 2 of them. So this is just the normal one right here, pitch down 600, and then I just duplicated it below, made it unique as a sample, then turned it up an octave so it's super high pitched like this. But it sounds good right now. So I routed them both to the mixer. It didn't sound good at first. It sounded like this. So to make it sound better, EQ, doing the vocal technique, reverb from the vocal technique, and then I have these 2 elements here, just messing with some stuff in that, and then an RC20 detune, a little bit of wobble, and then I have the same general stuff going on here, but I wanted to have a little bit less low end in the sample because I thought it was a little muddy. We got to make room for those drums, so a little bit less low end, a crystallizer to add a little bit of a higher octave to it. This is before and then after. So like a little bit of a higher muffled version up. It's up an octave, hence the name of the preset. Now we have another EQ right here. This one I messed around with frequencies to get it to my liking, so it sounds like before and after. So it brings out the white noise a little bit, and then lastly we have this RC20 on top that is just being wobbled again. So this RC20 was originally on the master channel, but I wanted to add drums, and obviously I don't want my drums to be detuned. So press this button. You guys probably can't see this, but you press this like side play button arrow thingy, It brings up a menu, and then you just have to go to save preset as, and then you click on it and you drag it to whatever one you want it to go, and it'll save that same preset and drag it to that mixer channel. So yeah, I put some basic drums on it, just using a clap here, one of my hi-hats, super generic sounding hi-hat, and this is like a Nick Muir hi-hat MIDI. And I wanted to use my 808s and kicks and stuff really sparingly. I don't have a lot of stuff going on here, as you can see. If you're gonna get anything out of the drum part of this video, to blend your kicks and 808s a little bit better, people never really talk about this, but the stereo separation knob, if you just put it like all the way to the right or all the way to the left on a kick, I normally do all the way to the right, it makes it blend a lot better with the 808. Especially Zay 808s and that kind of stuff, because those are kind of hard to put kicks on. At least I've always struggled the most with putting kicks on Zay 808s, but try this technique out and tell me how it works for you guys, because I've had nothing but success with it so far. For my master channel now, alright, so it's hitting miles over 0. To fix that, so the first thing I do is add a soft clipper, just normal settings on the soft clipper, don't change anything. And then I thought it was a tiny bit quiet, so I put a limiter underneath the soft clipper and just boost the post gain a little bit and turn these envelopes all the way down so it doesn't sound all weak and not punchy. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. Alright, so yeah, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you were able to learn something. Yeah, comment down below what you'd like to see next from me. And we're almost to 2,000 subscribers again, so yeah, that'll be crazy. When we hit that, I'm trying to have something released when we reach 2,000 subscribers, but it's kind of happening kind of quickly, and I don't know if I'll be able to have that released, but we'll see. I'm sure you guys will bear with me, but I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.